fashion is good. Alright, let's start this baby off with Tweet of the Week. Courtney Mollet on Twitter said, "I'm tired of being a main bitch. I want to be the only bitch." I replied with, "Gotta up your output." See, that's drawing the conclusion that she's not having enough sex to keep her man from straying. So she wants to be the only the only woman in her man's life. She's going to have to put out a lot more. I give good advice. I'm the Dr. Phil of the 2000s. There are the 2013s. He'll die soon. He looks like a man melting, just the way he looks physically. Finished off Survivors. That's the British show about a little Asian man who brings a plague into this world and spreads it throughout. And yeah, it was okay. This is the old one. This is from the 70s. We started on the new one recently. But the old one is so weird. Because I really like the first season the most. Then probably the third season second best. And the second season last. The first season was great. And they actually had like these main characters you've been following for a long time colonizing in one place. But at the end, that all just went titties up, and they end up going in to move with someone who was a psycho in the first season. They move in with him, and they just dialed back his character as Charles, the guy who wanted everyone to be breeding really fast. He was impregnating everything in sight. Well, they decided just to stick him with this woman named Pet, and make him look like a stable one gal for one guy kind of guy. And yeah. But he still had his weird moments, like trying to pimp Jenny a few different times. He's kind of a prostitute. He's kind of a pimp of sorts. Trying to prostitute her out against her will, which is of course creepy. But he still kind of played as a good guy, which is strange. But when all hell breaks loose, there are gonna be some weird leaders. Yeah, it really felt to me like they could have used someone whoever did the job of organizing all the little part actors on The Office. They could have done with someone like this on this show, Survivors, because they would bring someone onto the show and you never see him again. Like this pregnant lady came on the show with a man who was helping her out, and she gave birth to the baby at the Grange. That was their colony. They're nice. I think it was a big old-fashioned church. And they never see him again. Then Ann, an ex-lover of Vic, comes in. Vic, someone who's now in a wheelchair because he's lost the ability of his legs. Huge revenge plot. He's going to get Ann because Ann told Greg that he was dead. And when really he was not dead, he was just in a bad way. So, anyway, she came into the place, and she had a new lover. And he, after hearing the story, split up with her. You never see him again. And he said he was going to stay there at the place, but you never see him again. They never kept track of all these minor characters, never had them in the big meeting scenes. It really annoyed me after a while. Also, just how much of a pacifist pussies everyone was. I'm like a more conservative Jimmy. Passive, Pephasis pussies from South Park. Come on, guys. How about a joke? But anyway, like, I'll give you a specific example. There was this retarded character, and they thought he raped and killed this girl named Wendy. And they ended up having a mock trial, and they killed this retarded character, right? And later they find out it was actually the guy who was homeless before all the shit went down, and named, I think his name was Mike Price. And Mr. Price was kept on board even though the secret was revealed because they were too, they didn't have enough hands to keep the farm running. So yeah, they make these. Later he dies, nature takes its course, but no one. They kill the innocent. They don't they don't right the wrong they made. It was really annoying that way. Another good example is a guy who's admits to killing children in the past comes to town, and the reason he killed children is when they would respond to him out of fear. It just made him, I guess it triggered him to become some sort of monster and chase after him and kill them if he frightened a child. And he's very frightening himself. He sneaks up on people. He scares them all the time. He enlists this kind of reaction from children. And they're like, we should give him a shot. And Hubert was the only one who was like, I don't like him. And they were all like, give him a shot, Hubert. It don't matter. We have some small children around, but, he's changed. It just pissed me off to no end. The stuff like that is hard to watch. There's this one episode so awful. The worst episode of the series is in the 3rd season, I believe. One in the 2nd season is really bad. One in the 2nd season is about them accusing of this one old lady being a witch. It just drags. All these are 50 minutes, by the way. But one really bad episode. One really terrible episode was like a Lord of the Flies thing where kids were running their own farm, and they were doing a shitty job of it. And the whole episode is when Jenny and Greg, who have a baby together, have been separated for about a year, and they just keep on missing each other, and it's so fucking aggravating that they play these cheap little sitcom tricks on something that's so life and death. So that episode annoyed me. And it's really dark too. Dark in like a not a reverent way. Because the kids, half of them had like this disease that was like some kind of gangrene or something. Something from bad rye bread. So a lot of the kids were dying, and they weren't they didn't know how to treat each other. And this one kid, the leader's, who was a kid's sister, was really bad off, and her fingers were falling off and shit. And Greg had to mercy kill her. And then they go and they find that baby elephant, and it's all fun and games. It was awful. It was a bad episode. It was just so weird and loopy. But overall, it was a fun series. There were some good episodes. I really liked the insight in how government was being reset up. The battle for electricity, stuff like that. Supply and demand, and trying to connect the towns back together. And, I thought that was handled well. So, check it out if you want to. It's really interesting. People who like the, shows that are like survivalist type shows should check out Survivors. The original series. I think it ran from 76, 77, 78. Sounds about right. And the great part is, like, after the first season, they couldn't make a contract with Abby, whose her whole role in the show was trying to find her son, who could or not be dead. But she was just like, Peter, we must look for Peter. I was like, shut up, you old bag. She looked like mid-30s, but she talked like an old lady. Where's Peter? She talked like Maggie Smith from Hook. Peter. with you anymore, Peter. I've become old. But fuck my daughter, Peter. Fuck her. She's as pretty. That's kind of a weird storyline if you think about it. Because she loved Peter Pan. But he had to move on down when she got too old to her daughter. Four-wheelers. Fuck my daughter, Peter. Peter Pan. Also, I finished Arrested Development really fast. The new season on Netflix. A lot of people are, a lot of people are mixed on it, I think. I really enjoyed it. It was really interesting. They did it in a way that it's like the movie Go, or what I hear. I've never seen Pulp Fiction, but kind of like how that is, where everyone's story is intermixed with every character is intermixed in the main storyline. And it was pretty neat. I like that. And also, an interesting move they did in this new season was instead of having Michael and George Michael as protagonists, they just put them in the mix and made them bad guys. They said, "With hell with it. We're gonna make you as filthy and grimy, almost as your family is." And I enjoyed that. The stories I enjoyed best is I really liked the first story with the daughter, the lesbian with Ellen. I forgot her name. Lindsay. I really like Lindsay's storyline at first, just with that activist guy who can't see faces. He's face blind. He can't make out fine details of people's faces, and it hurts her ego. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. The first one of those had me rolling. The ones with the dad were kind of tedious. I can only watch so much of those. I actually liked Maybe's episode a lot. I thought it was pretty interesting. I think a lot of people could relate with it. She was willing to fuck her own life up just to prove these petty little points about how her parents don't care about her. And it's funny, some people don't ever get that insight on how they play different games and hurt themselves in life just to make sure they're always the victim. And I like she's able to notice it within the show and try to change it. So it was good. And they had a hell of a cliffhanger. Can't wait for the movie, or if they do another season or whatever they're going to do. I'm on board. Count me in. Very funny. I always liked the show when it was originally on. And Buster's story is a must-watch. It's just great. It's hilarious and over the top, but it's great. It's great. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Most of them pay off. I like them. Yeah, most of the episodes, like I said, a lot of people loved the stuff with Tobias, but oh man, a lot of it wore thin on me. Yeah, to me, the constant gay jokes really are sophomoric to me and get old fast. It's like, do something new, or he's better in tiny dosages. There you go, there's something kind of gay sounding. So it's better to just have him come in with a one-liner like bangers and mash, or put a banger in my mouth, and he blew himself. Something fast, quick, and he's out of the scene, and no one cares, and everyone goes throughout their day. But otherwise, delightful. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with this whole Snowden case. Be an idiot not to mention, just a little bit about it. It's all over the news. Apparently, some way or the other, we're all wiretapped. And they're looking for keywords meta tags, as the internet has deemed it, to try to find terrorists. And it's, of course, it's hugely invasive to our privacy. And I feel sorry for any guy who, like, you know how you always have that one friend who keeps, like, old terminology from, say, the 90s or 80s, just says that one thing over and over again. Like, there's some guy out there right now who just keeps on saying, oh, it was the bomb, man, it was totally the bomb. Light that one up, it was the bomb. And it's like, uh-oh, that guy has real much. It's so stupid. He's so stupid, but I mean, so is our government. That poor guy is tapped out. His whole house. They're following him to work. They're like, we haven't found the bomb yet, but we've heard a lot about it. He won't shut his mouth about this fucking bomb. So yeah. The other thing about it is, if they're hiring the same kind of people that work for TSA, who we know abuse their power and who have molested hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people, how good are these people who are monitoring our calls? Are they using information against us? Are they learning all kinds of social security numbers, credit card numbers, a lot of things they shouldn't know? We really shouldn't have to have heard over the phone to anyone we don't want to hear them. But we know that these people are getting that information and perhaps using it. I mean, that we gotta assume that, and that's a big thing too. So yeah, it's fucked up, but I think we all had an idea something like this was happening. I always kind of, my best example is, I was on a forum for a long time, just a regular old forum, and you make topics, and people would reply, and you would reply to topics, and it was just real simple. And I started getting really popular on this forum, and I was asked to become a moderator. The moderator gets to see a secret forum, and they help ban people. They do a simple IP ban. They can't do a name ban. Well, at least in those days they couldn't. And you just have these little powers. You can edit people's posts. You can take out offensive stuff like that. And they just fuck around. And they're always whenever you give anyone power, they're among the ranks at first. There's always some I don't know, mixed feelings among the group. Yeah, they feel like maybe they're not their boss anymore, but you're like a supervisor over them. It hurts your relationship with other people. But also the thing you find out is on that secret forum, everyone's name is a topic, and they have like every offense they've ever done, just there detailed. And this is on a free forum. I mean, that's something that happens on a free forum. People are being categorized and kept an account for everything they do that's wrong and stuff like that. That's on a free forum. These are people we pay, and if you don't think they have profiles over profiles of everyone who's ever said anything that's been disturbing to them, I think you're just stupid. I always thought that. Once I saw that, I said, well, this thing right here, which I thought had no layers to it, has multiple layers, and it's free. I mean, it's just keeping the forum clean, but also you're always building a case against all of its user base. And I would assume the same thing would be going on at the higher levels, especially when you get into the money that the government has, and they have these people who are listening in our calls. It's kind of like the old-fashioned days. The old-fashioned days, they used to connect calls, and they could stay on the line. The operators could. So, I mean, I'm guessing if an operator got a really interesting call, they'd stay on the line, and they just try not to breathe. And then, people were becoming suspect. Operator, are you still there? Please, I'm trying to make the sex with my wife over the phone. Please hang up. I got her socks off. The ankles are shown. Knock it off there, operator. Please, leave me be. She's showing her shoulders. Let me put the cigar in my mouth. But, yeah. It's messed up and it's happening, and be aware. You know, there's a reason. Even if I had, like, the instinct I wanted to learn, you know, more information about how a bomb is made, I've always been, like, wary of trying to type it into Google, how do you make a bomb? You know, I've always thought, that's just not smart. And there's always been, to me, and it's sad that it's there, but there's always been this feeling of being watched somewhat. So, yeah. It sucks. And I really hate how all these news outlets are making... They're making Snowden out to be this awful criminal against America for telling its citizens what's really happening to them. It's really fucked up when you look at it that way. Why? Us becoming aware is like the scariest thing to the government. That is the scariest thing they have to ever face. They become accountable for their actions and what they're doing. So I mean, that. You just have to be wary with everything they do, everything they prop. They use these shootings to try to take away guns from everybody. They manipulate any kind of event to their favor whenever they can. It's just scary. It's really scary. And it's sad that they made someone like Putin a good guy. But yeah, God bless you, Putin, for keeping Snowden safe. They're also trying to make fun of or kind of defame Snowden because he has a stripper girlfriend. And to that, though, I say awesome. That's pretty fucking awesome. Good job, Snowden. And she's gone with him to Russia. So yeah, to her that has to be a culture shock too. It's nice of her to stand by her man, just being a girlfriend. But of course, I mean, she'd be questioned so much here. It's probably the right move to just go along with him. I'm sure everybody, all his poor family, and everyone ever involved with Mr. Snowden is being raked over the coals right now. Can you imagine, like, the all he thought he was probably getting into, maybe, at the ground level, it's just, like, something with phone calls, like some kind of over-the-phone sales, something like that. It turns out he was part of a huge monitoring program. They're trying to find terrorists, which doesn't seem to work really that well, since we've had we've had some rough trouble with that as of late. I don't know. You think they'd be trying to prove themselves right and show the examples of where they actually stop terrorism from happening. But I'm pretty sure it's far and few in between. So, yeah. It's like when the TSA was patting themselves on the back so they stopped that shoe bomber. The guy had he had a wick that you coming from his shoe. like 8 inches. Any idiot can see it. It's so stupid. Hey, I think you have something on your shoe. TSA did a great bang-up job there. They identified the man with the strange shoe. So yeah, God bless you, Putin. God bless you, Mr. Snowden. Death with the government. Mash. The government did that. They heard what I said, and they fucked me over. They have, like, controls and everything, even the cigar. And right when I said that, they flipped off my ash onto my stomach. And they laughed at me. I see you there, invisible helicopters. And here's what I think. Whammo. And hey, he has a brother. See how good I could do that? Like, I've seen some old people with, like, arthritis and shit. They like this. It's like another finger's creeping up. It's like a really shitty bird. I give a strong bird. And I'm doing this as hard as I can. So take it. Oh, we're doing this as hard as we can. Ooh. Yeah. I just wanted to apologize for the poor quality of some of my videos of late. Maybe some of them were too quick and stuff, but it's just, I'm trying to do this video for every day. And, you know, I really wanted to thank the influx of subs I've had. I've had a big influx. For a long time, I've been getting deficits each month. And now I'm actually on the plus side, like 30 this whole month. So thank you for all those who sub and, you know, spread the word if you think other people like my videos, all that good shit. You know, I always want more subs. But more importantly, I love interacting with you. Leave a comment if you have something to say in one of my videos. I try to get back to them. Sometimes it's hard to get back right away if it's a really long comment. Sometimes I look at it and I want to have the time to structure everything I'm going to say well and give an informed response. But, you know, just general positive stuff I'm a little faster on. But I enjoy all comments. And, yeah, I'm sorry, sometimes it's just a really fast video. And sometimes it's a really long video. And I have ideas for more videos. It's just time is against me, and sometimes I just get lazy. It's really hard sometimes. It's hard to find balance. And I've been really working hard this week. This week sucks more than other weeks, but it'll get better, way better afterwards. In fact, I got I think a 5-day weekend, or even longer. Let's see. No, yeah, 5-day weekend. July 4th, I'll be off Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that will be beautiful. Be nice. So thank you for watching. I will see you people later. Goodbye, my little Snowdens. Keep telling me the truth. Fuck the government. If you ever want to get into cigar smoking, a good sampler to get would be anything that contains a carbon copy. To me, for a beginner smoker who wants something simple and something crisp and something that kind of has a just kind of a not too strong of a taste, I love these things. I think they're great. I mean, they taste like new car smell to me. That's the best way I could put it. And I love smoking on some new car smell. Just age them like a week in the humidor, and they're ready. And this one's actually, you know, it faced a big no-no in the humidor. It got wet in the humidor. It actually sweated a little bit, and I was really scared. And you can see it has a few bumps and stuff, and you know, but I was able to dry it off, and I actually think that helped it. The extra moisture is in there, and it tastes really good. Really good. Now I've had these for a few months and they've been aged really well, and it's quality. The wrap is good. They are cheap cigars. They're like $2 a cigar. So if you ever want to buy it alone, but I always say buy a sampler pack, find out what you like. But, you want to look to see if you could get a carbon copy in it. If there's any interest in that, maybe I'll do some cigar reviews. But I'm pretty novice at it. Some guys are just able to taste it and smell it, and they're starting to say stuff like, "Oh, I smell some mahogany in there with some banana peel. Is that a little citrus twist in there?" I really don't have the refined palate as some of these people. I just know what I like and know what I don't like at this point. And of course, that's always changing. I'd hate to be like the fool up here and say something crazy, and then years later just think, what an idiot was I, or am I, or once I was. But that's life pretty much summed up. We're all idiots. And I'm sure when I'm, way up there in age, I'll look back at this and think, oh, I'm an idiot. That's what growing's all about, people. Live and learn, prosper, and fuck the government. Fuck them. Fuck them hard. Put a cigar out in the back.